All right. So let's get to the truth. Let's get to the bottom of it. Eddie Starr, trash man by day, vlogger by night, day, whatever the heck. But this is a video that had to be done. It's long overdue. Long overdue. Why did the Lakers pick D'Angelo Russell over Jahlil Okafor? Why? It makes no sense, right? Let me explain to you why, all right? Let's go back to the lottery balls. When the lottery balls happened, Lakers were very nervous. We were like, because, you know, Jordan Clarkson won that one game, and we were nervous. Oh, man, why did Jordan Clarkson try to win the game? We were tanking on purpose. We were trying to get one of these top players. We were nervous. If we fell out of the top 5, we was going to lose our pick. Anyhow, we got the second pick. After we got the second pick, the Knicks were very pissed off. Very, very upset because they felt like they lost more games. They should have got it, and they got cheated. So, now the workouts have to happen. So now you got the workouts going. This is right after Duke won the championship. The whole general consensus of who was going to be the number 1 pick was Karl Anthony Towns, Big Cat. It was no doubt about it. He was number 1. But number 2, it was majority Okafor and a small percentage Russell. And the third was Russell. You know, Russell was supposed to go to the 76ers. But a lot of New York fans were upset and all that. We ain't going to get into that. They wanted Russell or Okafor. So we get the second pick. We got to work the rookies out. We worked the rookies out. We got the top 3 prospects. We have Jahlil Okafor, which is general number 2 pick. Every mock draft you check, Okafor was number 2. And you had Moutier, who was kind of like the year before. Moutier was ahead of Russell before the college season. Moutier was ahead of Russell. Moutier happened to do the Brandon Jennings thing where he went, instead of going to St. John's, he went a year in China and played in China. He was injured, so he kind of sat out towards the end part of the season. It was very little, if any, footage of Moutier. But Moutier was definitely a lottery pick. Everybody knew he was a lottery pick. He was at least top 5. That was the consensus. So the Lakers worked him out. I mean, they worked Moutier out, they worked Russell out, and they worked Okafor out. After they work all 3 out, they go to the dinner, try to learn the character. You know, typical stuff. It's like, you know, when you meet your girlfriend's dad, you put on a good show, you say whatever you got to say. So Russell works out, and they're impressed. And Okafor works out for him, and they're kind of like, I don't know if this guy's going to make it. He's more of a power forward instead of a center. He's not a true center, and that's what they're thinking. But to everybody else, it's like, you just get Okafor because Okafor, he has hands. He talented, you know, he has exceptional hands. He's great with his hands. He knows how to position himself. This is, you know, he's going to be a Hall of Famer, in my opinion. Okafor. So they see him work out, and they're kind of like, nah, this dude's all right. But he's not what. See, they just going off the workout. But it wasn't just the workout. Because right after Duke won the championship, Coach K went on the Colin Cowherd show. And he went on the Colin Cowherd show, and he says, anybody who's expecting to pick up Okafor, this is kind of before the lottery, the draft and all that. He said, anybody who thinks they're going to get Okafor and they're going to have a finished product, it's not going to work like that. He's not ready. Coach K, the guy who coached Okafor, he's not ready to take on a role of being being responsible. There were already rumblings about him not really being too much interested in basketball, him not really being too much interested in having that work ethic that, say, like a Kobe has or Kevin Garnett. It was they were talking about kind of like his weight or something. Like, will he eat too much? Will he get big? And is he not focused, right? So the Lakers already have a bias in their mind. Okay, so they call Coach K. They talk to Coach K. Coach K, if you think they didn't talk to him, you crazy. They always call the coach and ask the coach, what do you think about him? And they get a consensus. So they ultimately came to the conclusion that it's too risky to pick Okafor, because Okafor to us was a sure thing, but to the GMs and the managers, he was a sure thing, but they just didn't know, because they were like, I don't know if he has that discipline, right? I don't know if he has that discipline to make it in the NBA. They were saying the same things about DeMarcus Cousins when he first came into the league, but we see how that panned out. So you just never know. But for the most part, a lot of people were like, man, Okafor is a sure thing. So everybody kind of knew, regardless of the fact, they were still going to pick Okafor. Russell was just, blowing them away. They were just like, wow. He was like he was like the razzle-dazzle, throwing these passes, and he had a lot of gas. A lot of people just gassing him. All of these general managers are gassing him. Oh, you need to pick Russell because Russell, we have more footage. We have actual footage. Moutier had no footage. They just had to go off of what they saw with their eyes, their intuition. And Moutier didn't seem like he was as polished as Russell in their mind. They felt that even though D'Angelo Russell was a project, he had a higher point guard IQ. He was more Magic than Marbury. So he had a lot of gas. People, oh my goodness, he's the best passer since Magic. The coach from Louisville said, right? So everybody's kind of like, okay. So they have more video on Russell so that they could break it down. So they have a decision to make, right? It's draft day. Nobody knows. For the most part, everybody's kind of like, the Lakers are going to pick Okafor because it's a sure thing. It's like, come on, you have to pick Okafor. You know you're gonna go to the Hall. You know you're gonna he's the next Tim Duncan. You don't get a Tim Duncan like they just don't happen like that. Very rare that you can find a Tim Duncan type of player, right? So draft pick comes in. They going over. They mulling over it. What should we do? And Jim Buss, it's like, lacks work ethic. Lacks work ethic. Maybe not as interested in basketball as. Who's this sound like? Now think about it. Who does that sound like? A person that lacks work ethic, maybe not interested in basketball, because it's all a risk. It's all a crapshoot anyway. But Jim Buss is like, man, this sounds like Andrew Bynum. So he's thinking, nah, I can't risk it. So they came with some BS talking about he's not a true center or whatever. So they chose Russell. Now the reason they chose Russell was because they felt Russell had the edge as far as being capable of holding the franchise into that next generation, the next generation superstar. Because Kobe has to go. And a lot of you guys don't understand. I read the book Showtime. You can go and check my book reviews. Showtime. Jerry Buss was in a similar situation where the team was doing bad. They weren't a good team, and they needed to make a good pick, but they had the number 1 pick. And Magic was a winner. I'm not saying that D'Angelo Russell was anything like Magic, but he had a lot of gas. He had a lot of hype coming into the league. A lot of hype. This is why everybody's like, oh, he's a bust. He's a bust, because the hype was just so incredible. And when you go to a team like, the Lakers, when you get drafted to a team like the Raiders or the Cowboys, and or you're like this hot shot. It's kind of what Johnny Manziel's going through. When you get all of this hype, and they put you in a position, they put you on that pedestal, people are kind of like, whoa, man, you better be like, you better play like you know what I'm saying? You better play like you just, your head's on fire. So, Jerry Buss chose Magic Johnson because he was a flashy. Magic Johnson was the inception of Showtime. He is what made Showtime. Now, if you read the book, it's a lot of things similar as far as like passes and stuff, passes not being made, passes getting thrown upside the head and all of that stuff. I'm not comparing them to Magic. That's Laker blasphemy. But I'm just saying, when Magic first started, he threw a lot of balls and people they didn't have that awareness. But Magic had that fire. He had that, hey man, we got to get this shit together. Come on now, everybody, we got to get this. We got to win this game. Magic was a smiley face. He had the personality. He is Lakers history. He's the guy who made the Lakers what I like, what you like. That pizzazz. All right. So Jim Buss is in a similar situation. Do I pick the sure thing, the next Ralph Sampson, or Magic Johnson? Right? It's like, okay, let me go ahead and pick the next Magic. So D'Angelo Russell's kind of seemed like he's going to be the next crazy passer. He had a lot of hype. So Jim Buss picked D'Angelo Russell because he's like, I'm basically the junior. I'm like my father, and if my father was still living, he would pick D'Angelo Russell. So there you go. That's pretty much the only reason he picked D'Angelo Russell over for the sure thing Okafor, because D'Angelo Russell had a lot of gas. A lot of people like, man, D'Angelo Russell's going to be the truth. D'Angelo Russell's going to be incredible, man. This guy's going to be, sports science is showing him throwing passes. So he's on a height so high. His height was so much like this. Everybody's like, oh man, he's not like Steph Curry. He's not Chris Paul Jr. I mean, this guy's he's not showing up, so he's not it. He's not the guy that they hyped up. So that's pretty much what it came down to. And they need a superstar to carry the team. And coaches change, a lot of things change, but usually the players, superstar players, those are the ones that stick through it. Kobe's been through so many coaches, and I think right now we're like at the point, I don't know if you guys are familiar with this, where we got like a Rudy Tomjanovich. We just got somebody, a Dale Harris. We just got somebody just filling in. They ain't got the real coach. Just somebody in between before we get that real coach. The championship Lakers before us had Pat Riley, and I believe one championship with West Paul. But the championship Lakers I grew up to was Coach Jackson, Coach Phil Jackson. So there's another coach out there. I don't know who he is. That's gonna but we'll talk about that later, man. I just want to make this video not too long, about 14, 15 minutes. It ain't gonna hurt you, but that's the truth. That's the reason why they picked Russell over Okafor, because he wants to be, I got the next superstar. I did that, right? All right, so peace. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm Eddie Starr.